Hey everybody, welcome to another Studio 64 live stream. I was getting a few things up and running here at the moment, so you just have to bear with me. There we go. Yes, we've got a few things on the docket for today. How's everybody going? How's their weekend? Started here in Australia and of course is about to start in other parts of the world. Let's just see what we've got going on the docket today. Yes, let's see. We have a Russian cosmonaut breaking the a record for the longest international space station stay. We have Egyptian pyramids were built using an incredibly clever machine, new research suggests. This will be interesting to find out. And we have Jupiter-bound JUICE probe snaps photos of the Earth, Moon, and Uranus. Very interesting. And to top it off, we have the Square Kilometer Array, world's largest radio telescope in making, becomes partially functional. Wow, that sounds pretty good. Yes, all right, let's get into it. Let's go. What do we got here? Let's see. We have a cosmonaut. Let's see.
Russian cosmonaut Oleg Kononenko is poised to set a world record for the longest cumulative time spent in space, with nearly 2.5 years. At 59, he will surpass Gennady Padalka's previous record of 878 days. Kononenko, the commander of Roscosmos Cosmonaut Corps, is on his fifth space flight and is expected to log 1,110 days in space by the end of his current expedition in September.
Very, very interesting. Excellent stuff indeed. Now, let's find out a little bit more about this cosmonaut. Let's have a little bit of a look here. Yes, here we go. Russian cosmonauts break record for the longest ISS stay. Yes, just bear with me a minute. A little technical things we've got to move along here. Here we go. Yes, so good old on RT.com, Russian cosmonauts break record for longest ISS stay. Yes. Oleg Kononenko and Nikolai Chubb have spent more than 370 days on board the International Space Station. Interesting. There he is there. And we've got NASA astronaut Laurel O'Hara and cosmonauts Oleg Kononenko and Nikolai Chubb posed while in quarantine behind glass before launch in Baikonur, Kazakhstan, September 14, 2023. Yes, Russian cosmonauts Oleg Kononenko and Nikolai Chubb have broken the record for the longest continuous mission aboard the International Space Station, having spent more than a year in orbit. Fascinating. Kononenko and Chubb entered the record books at 4:06 p.m. Moscow time on Friday when they beat the previous record set by fellow cosmonauts Sergei Prokopyev and Dmitry Petlin, an American astronaut Francisco Rubio, who spent 370 days, 21 hours, 22 minutes, and 16 seconds aboard the ISS from September 2022 to September 2023. That's interesting, isn't it? Now, by the time they return to Earth on a Soyuz MS spacecraft on Monday, Kononenko and Chubb will have spent 374 days in space, Russia's space agency Roscosmos said in a statement. Yes, the two cosmonauts arrived at the ISS on September 15 last year. The mission was Chubb's first journey into space, but Kononenko's fifth. Back in February, Kononenko broke a world record for the most time spent in space by a single person, eclipsing the 878 days and 11 hours set by Russian cosmonaut Gennady Padalka in 2015. This is incredible, isn't it? As I said, forget the politics. I just think what human beings are capable of doing when we set our minds to it is amazing. Kononenko had logged 1,000 days away from Earth as of June. By the time he returns home next week, he will have spent a combined total of 1,110 days, or over 3 years in space. Another Russian cosmonaut, Valery Polyakov, holds the record for the longest ever single trip to space, spending 437 days, 17 hours and 58 minutes and 17 seconds aboard the now defunct Mir space station between January 94 and March of 95. There are currently 15 people aboard the ISS, including 6 NASA astronauts and 4 Roscosmos cosmonauts. Two of the NASA astronauts, Butch Wilmore and Sudie Williams, were originally scheduled to return to Earth in June. However, their Boeing Starlemon spacecraft encountered technical difficulties while en route to the ISS and made the trip home with no crew on board earlier this month. Wilmore and Williams will come home in February aboard a capsule operated by Boeing's leading competitor, Elon Musk's SpaceX. What I find entertaining about that is the Russians have to have a bit of a dig at Boeing. Yeah, they're not particularly subtle, are they? You're about as subtle as a hand grenade. But yeah, that's interesting. Well done. Kononenko and Chubb. Very, very good indeed. Excellent. Yeah. As I said, politics aside, I do love to see, as I said, human beings pushing the boundaries like this and what we can learn from that, because obviously in the future we're going to be spending more and more time in space. And yeah, it'll be interesting to follow up on this and just see if what sort of effects that long-term being in space like that for Kononenko, hopefully it doesn't have too much of an effect on his body. We've obviously learned a great deal since then. All right, let's have a look and see what else we've got on the docket. Here we go. Let's check this out. This is Egyptian pyramids. Let's go for a bit of archaeology, shall we?
The age-old question. How did the Egyptians build the pyramids? Perplexing historians all the way back to ancient Greece, stumping Napoleon's archaeologists, and becoming the butt of jokes today.
Did this start at the top and work down, or start at the bottom and work up?
Although we're fairly sure they started at the bottom, we still don't know exactly how they did it. There are all kinds of theories, ramps, cranes, and yes, aliens.
Probably extraterrestrials.
Now we're getting a new potential answer, one a little more grounded in reality. Water. Researchers just published a study suggesting that hydraulic force could have helped build the step pyramid for Pharaoh Djoser, more than 4,600 years ago. It's the oldest of the 7 monumental pyramids in Egypt and was at the time the largest structure, coming in at 204 feet. That's King or Pharaoh LeBron James stacked head to toe more than 30 times. Some of those stones weighing more than 600 pounds. The researchers now say the internal architecture of the pyramid supports a new theory, a hydraulic lift. A nearby structure might have functioned as a dam. Water could have flowed into shafts inside the pyramid that would have raised some sort of float carrying the stones, like a water elevator. They say the discovery represents a significant leap in our comprehension of ancient Egyptian engineering. The question is, where would the water have come from? Researchers say the area used to be more of a savanna than a desert, getting a lot more rain than it does now. But some experts are skeptical.
I think it's extremely unlikely, to say the least.
John Darnell is a professor of Egyptology at Yale.
We don't have any evidence for the Egyptians making use of, let's say, water pressure or understanding or exploiting that. It would be very difficult to do that using the structures they're describing, because the enclosure would leach water into the desert.
The researchers behind the new study say there's more to investigate. They're looking into whether other pyramids could have been built in a similar way, from the inside out. So in many ways, it all remains a mystery. And alien watchers can keep their eyes on the skies. David Noriega, NBC News.
Thanks for watching. Stay updated about breaking news and top stories.
Well, thanks for that, Lester. That was quite interesting. Yes, that's very interesting indeed, wasn't it? Yes, a lot of people, no idea how the pyramids were built. But let's just check out this news story from Indy 100. Might give us a bit of a bit more of a background on it. Yeah, Egyptian pyramids were built using an incredibly clever machine, new research suggests. Okay. As usual, I'll leave the link to the main articles below the video so you can pop in, check out the embedded links, go for a bit of a deeper dive if you want. Makes for an interesting read beyond the main article, I tell you. Egypt's Great Pyramids have been a source of wonder and mystery for many centuries, but recent research has shed a dazzling light on the secrets of how they were created and how this involved the impressive use of water. Now, a new study suggested that at least one of the great structures was built using equipment that was far more sophisticated than first thought. Interesting. The paper, published in the journal PLOS ONE on the 5th of August, posits that the iconic 4,500-year-old step pyramid of Djoser was erected with the help of a unique hydraulic lift system. Okay. In the past, experts believed that the step pyramid was most likely constructed using a network of ramps and levers. However, the latest analysis, led by Javier Alandro, a magnificent name, by the way, your parents have done very well there, Javier, of France's CEA Paleotechnic Institute, suggests that the ancient Egyptians channeled nearby canals to power weight-bearing lifts. That's interesting. There's the Pyramid of Djoser, known as the Step Pyramid. Cool. Look at those camels being very cheeky. Oh, look at this guy. He's a bit of shade under the camel there. I mean, it's obvious, but I mean, it's also quite funny too. You don't sort of think about it, really, do you? Yeah, I mean, you'd have to move quick if the camel had to do a number 2 or a number 1, wouldn't you? Fascinating. Absolutely fascinating. Yes. Yes, the study suggests that water was enabled to flow into 2 shafts located in the pyramid itself, which are used to help raise and lower a float to carry the heavy stone building blocks. That's very, very interesting, isn't it? Very interesting indeed. Yeah, so using water with hydraulic lifts. Interesting stuff. Ancient Egyptians are famous for their pioneering and mastery of hydraulics through canals for irrigation purposes and barges to transport huge stones, the researchers wrote. Yeah, because the Nile at that stage, flowed differently back in those days, from what I understand. I did a video on it a while ago, actually. The theory is that they use water to move these very large stones. Again, I'm not a scientist myself. I just love all science and technology, and I just think it's absolutely fantastic. And if there are any scientists out there, archaeologists that are, watching the stream, please feel free to comment. We'd love to hear from you. Absolutely fantastic stuff. I love having conversations with real scientists. They're absolutely incredible. Excellent. Yes, now this work opens a new line of research, the use of hydraulic force to erect the massive structures built by the pharaohs. Yes, the Step Pyramid is believed to have been built around 2680 BCE as a funerary complex for the 3rd dynasty pharaoh Djoser, yet the precise method of its construction has always remained unclear. Now, Landro and his colleagues argue that nearby a previously unexplained structure known as the Giza El Medea, see again, apologies for mispronunciations, not a scientist, was in fact a check dam used to capture water and sediment. They also posit that a series of compartments dug into the ground just outside the pyramid may have served as a water treatment facility. This would have enabled sediment to settle as water passed through each subsequent compartment. That's something I'd never thought of before. From there, after flowing into the pyramid shaft themselves, the pressurized water would have floated the building stones towards the upper levels of the structure via an internal shaftway in a process known as volcano construction. Okay. What's this here? That's really, really interesting. Very interesting indeed. Look at this. So Giza El Medea check dam, the deep trench water treatment facility, and the Step Pyramid. And as you can see there's where the water flows in, and awesome. Absolutely amazing stuff. Love to hear your thoughts on this. Let us know. Yeah, it's a map of the area showing the water courses to the Step Pyramid. And the bottom is a diagram of the identified building process. Cool. Nevertheless, whilst the authors feel confident the internal structure of the Step Pyramid is consistent with a hydraulic elevation device never reported before, they conceded that further investigations are needed. They now aim to establish how water might have flowed through the shafts, as well as how much water was available in the surrounding area all those thousands of years ago. Yeah, because the course of the Nile would have changed since then. Still, they note that whilst other structures, including ramps, are probably also used to help erect the pyramid, a hydraulic lift system could have been used to support the building process when there was enough water. They stress that their research, carried out in conjunction with several laboratories, has led to the discovery of a dam, a water treatment facility, and a hydraulic elevator, which would have enabled the construction of the Step Pyramid of Saqqara. They conclude this work opens a new research line for the scientific community to use the use of hydraulic power to build the pyramids of Egypt. Well, that is very, very interesting, isn't it? Absolutely amazing. I think they might have used some hydraulic power. And of course, as I said, the course of the pyramids. Oh, sorry, the course of the River Nile, the course of the pyramids. You idiot, David. Course of the River Nile has changed over that time, so that's why it's not obvious to us. Fascinating. All right, what's next on the docket? Let's have a look here. Yes. Let's get some little video here on JUICE on the background of the Jupiter probe. Let's have a look at this.
The European Space Agency's JUICE mission is on a groundbreaking journey to explore Jupiter's icy moons, Europa, Ganymede, and Callisto. These moons are believed to have vast oceans beneath their icy surfaces, making them prime candidates in the search for extraterrestrial life. Recently, JUICE completed a historic double gravity assist, using both the moon and Earth to catapult itself toward Venus and then onto Jupiter. But why are these gravity assists so important? They save precious fuel, allowing JUICE to travel over 600 million kilometers through space and still have enough propellant to carry out its mission when it reaches Jupiter in 2031. These maneuvers are a remarkable feat of precision, using the gravitational pull of planets to boost JUICE's speed and alter its course without using much fuel. Once at Jupiter, JUICE will use its advanced instruments, like the high-resolution Janus camera and the RIME radar, to explore the moon's surfaces. To learn more, watch our full YouTube video. See you there.
Very, very interesting indeed. Now, let's have a little bit of a look. Where's our friends over here at JUICE? What are they up to? Here we go. Yes, Jupiter-bound JUICE probe snaps photos of the Earth, Moon, and Uranus. There you go. People taking pictures of Uranus. I know, the joke had to be made. All right, so Europe's Jupiter probe has captured a stunning view of the Earth, the Moon, and the sunrise, and a surprise planetary guest. Interesting. Earth and the Moon is seen by ESA's Jupiter-bound JUICE probe. Interesting. There you go. All right, so Europe's Jupiter probe has captured a stunning view of the Earth, the Moon, and a surprise planetary guest. The European Space Agency's Jupiter Icy Moons Explorer, or JUICE mission, which launched on April 14, 2023, captured a unique view of the Earth, its moon, and Uranus, which, like Jupiter, is a gas giant. Seriously, they could have named that planet better, especially if it's a gas giant. The celestial trio was photographed by JUICE as the spacecraft makes its way towards Venus for its second gravity assist in 2025. These two little marbles we call our cosmic home were photographed by JUICE over 5 million kilometers, or 3 million miles, as the spacecraft waved us goodbye while heading towards Venus. ESA wrote in a post on X, formerly Twitter, releasing the new images on September 18. A gravity assist is a maneuver which a spacecraft uses the gravity of a celestial body to propel it toward another. Swinging by Venus, along with the flybys of Earth and Moon, will help JUICE reach the Jupiter system in 2031. In August, JUICE performed a first of its kind Earth-Moon gravity assist, which gave the spacecraft an extra boost on its way to Venus. After visiting the second planet from the Sun, the spacecraft will complete 2 more flybys of Earth in 2026 and 2029, both without the additional boost from the Moon. Let's have a look at this. There you go. That's the JUICE probe taking a photo of Earth and the Moon. Absolutely fascinating. Absolutely and positively amazing. Still stuns me what we can actually do. There we go. Yes, as the spacecraft looked back at the Earth and the Moon, it also captured the planet Uranus in the distance. Oh, cool. Here we go. On one oversaturated image brought to light a photobomber, planet Uranus, which was 2.9 billion kilometers or 1.8 million miles away from JUICE. ESA officials wrote on the post on X, can you spot which dot is the planet? Okay. Not me personally, but if anyone knows what it is, let us know, because this is fascinating. That's incredible, isn't it? Might be this one over here, perhaps. Again, not an astrophysicist myself or astronomer. Anyone knows more about it, please let me know. Which one is Uranus? Absolutely amazing. There we go. Now, the new images from JUICE were taken using different exposure times as part of our in-flight tests and calibrations of the spacecraft's two monitoring cameras. The cameras offer different fields of view and are tasked with monitoring the spacecraft's instrument in flight. JUICE is designed to explore Jupiter and its three large ocean-bearing moons, Ganymede, Callisto, and Europa. It will investigate the gas giant's complex environment and look for signs of possible habitability on the icy moons. Absolutely amazing. And as I say, I am very, very much looking forward to getting information on these moons, because these moons, if they can use like a heat sink to then drop a submersible, as we do here on Earth, such as the technology from Bob Ballard and the Woods Hole Institute when they found the Titanic in '85, it's updated technology of that. So it can go out into space. They use a heat sink, drill through the ice, as I said, in the surface, drop one of these probes in. It'd be interesting if we got eaten by a sea creature or something. But yes, it'll be very interesting to see what happens. It's going to be absolutely amazing. Can't wait. All right, and last on our little list, what do we have here? Yes, the Square Kilometer Array, world's largest radio telescope in the making, becomes partially functional. Well, let's have a look at this and get a bit of background from the Australian Academy of Science on the from the Square Kilometer Array.
At first glance, this could be a plantation of Christmas trees in the Australian outback. But you're looking at what some are calling one of humanity's biggest ever scientific endeavors. This is an artist's impression of what's known as the SKA Low Telescope, currently being built in Western Australia. It's one of two critical components that, when completed, will together form the SKA Observatory, or SKAO. The second part is the SKA Mid Telescope, now under construction in South Africa. SKAO will consist of more than 130,000 antennas and almost 200 dishes across the two continents. That will make it the largest radio observatory in the world, promising to answer some of our biggest questions about the universe. ANU's Professor Naomi McClure-Griffiths is a fellow of the Australian Academy of Science who discovered a spiral arm of the Milky Way and is chair of SKAO's Science and Engineering Advisory Committee. She says SKAO will enable science to take a giant leap forward.
It's the chance to be able to see the very first stars in the universe and when those turned on. And then everything from the very beginning to us here and looking at how planets form in our own galaxy.
For that to happen, radio telescopes must be located a long way from other human-made transmissions, such as TV, radio, and mobile phone signals, which can interfere with the relatively weak radio waves coming from space. That makes this site on Wajidi country ideal. It's already home to precursor telescopes like this one. The site itself is called Inyarimana Ilgari Bundara, the CSIRO Murchison Radio Astronomy Observatory, which translates to sharing sky and stars. The traditional owners agreed to host the science facilities on their land as part of a broader agreement that will ensure educational, social, and economic benefits for community. And the benefits to society as a whole can't be overstated. Science Minister Ed Husick says SKAO's cutting-edge technology will expose Australian businesses to new skills and capabilities. We will see those changes flow on for generations to come. SKAO will also enhance Australia's growing space industry, with scientists from around the world making regular use of the observatory. Some will even be on the lookout for intelligent extraterrestrial life. If an alien species were out there trying to reach out and say hello, by the time that radio signal got to Earth, it would have been so weak we wouldn't be able to detect it, says SKA Low Telescope Director Dr. Sarah Pearce, but that changes with SKAO.
The observatory will start producing science before the end of the decade.
Well, that was really interesting, wasn't it? I personally thought it was actually quite amazing. And as I said, it's an extension of the SETI program, the search for extraterrestrial intelligence. And people often ask me, and I've said this in previous videos, if there are aliens out there, David, why haven't they contacted us yet? Well, I think the human beings are the Jehovah's Witnesses of the universe and the rest of the galaxies pretending it's not home. All they got to do is listen to our the stuff that we stream over the internet, like Real Housewives and stuff, and videos of us blowing each other up, and they wouldn't come anywhere near us either. Absolutely incredible. Plus the fact we're too primitive, mindless, childish, squabbling primitives. All right, let's have a quick look here and see what we've got. Yes, this is from the Indian Express. The Square Kilometer Array, the world's largest radio telescope in the making, becomes partially functional. Excellent. So we're definitely on the way there. At least some taxpayers' money is actually being is coming to practical use, as opposed to the poor American taxpayer who seems to have bloody aerospace contractors taking billions of dollars and not producing the goods. Just did a video on one this week with Axiom having issues. And the probes, the reconnaissance vehicle that was supposed to go to the moon for Artemis has been scrapped. And the only one that's making any progress is Elon Musk's SpaceX. And he's getting himself into trouble every 5 minutes. He took half as much taxpayers' money and he's done the job. Fascinating. So here we go. Square Kilometer Array, or SKA, is an international science project with headquarters in India. India became a member of SKA in December of 2022. There we go. There it is. Thousands of radio antennas, some in South Africa and the rest in Australia, designed to function as one single unit. They'll make the world's largest radio telescope. Absolutely and positively fascinating. All right, let's see here. What do they have to say for themselves? Square Kilometer Array, or the SKA, is the world's largest radio telescope in the making, has carried out its first observations, signaling that at least a part of the yet-to-be-completed facility has become functional. Yes, the SKA is a network of thousands of radio antennas, 197 of them, located in South Africa, more than 1.3, I believe that's kilometres in Australia, is designed to function as one single unit that will make the world's largest radio telescope. The array in South Africa is named SKA Mid, while the one in Australia is called SKA Low, the names reflecting the frequency ranges they operate in. The facility is meant to observe the universe in a new way and probe questions related to the origins of the universe, formation and evolutions of galaxies, and seeking the origins of life. This is just going to be awesome. I just can't wait for this to come online in full. It's just going to be mind-blowing. It's going to be another, James Webb telescope in a lot of ways, I think. Even though that's more optical, this will be a radio telescope, but some of the things we're going to learn. As I say, I'm not an astronomer. I'm a big fan of the Parkes radio telescope here in Australia, but, if there are any astronomers out there, please feel free to weigh in because we'd love to hear from you. I just love all science, space, and tech news and sharing it with people. A few days ago, astronomers and engineers working at the Australian facility integrated data from the two stations of the SKA Low to obtain coordinated observational results, thus confirming its capabilities to function as an interferometer. Interferometers are instruments that use the principle of wave interference to make scientific measurements. It is a technique that allows scientists to gather a variety of information from determining the distance determination of distance to detecting gravitational waves by splitting and recombining light beams or other electromagnetic waves. SKA Low and SKA Mid would also work as interferometers. Yes, the first results have come in just about 6 months after the first antennas in SKA Low Array were first installed in Western Australia. That is really cool. As I said, only 6 months. And this is what we've been able to achieve so far. So it's going to be very exciting. There we go. Again, we got phase versus frequency baseline. That's a good start. That's a good test. Fascinating. The SKA is an international science project with headquarters in the United Kingdom. In December last year, India, which has been collaborating on the project since its inception, became a full member country in the international consortium building this telescope across 2 continents. Yeah, Indians amaze me, while the Americans, the Russians, the Chinese, and everybody else goes off their brain about how wonderful they are in space with technology, aerospace in general. The Indians are just there in the background doing their thing, landing on the moon, and, they got their probes up there, doing their thing. Made a number of videos on. They just absolutely blow me away, the Indians. Very understated. Yes, there we go. 1 million. Is it one? I don't even know what that actually means in the way of 1 million. Was it 1,000? I can't even. So many antennas. Each measuring 2 meters in height will be collectively form the SKA low. The SKA mid will comprise 197 large parabolic dish antennas, offering the largest bandwidth observations. SKA low will operate from Australia in the frequency bandwidth 50 to 350 megahertz, while SKA mid is designated to operate in 350 to 15.4 gigahertz band in South Africa. Each of SKA low's proposed 512 stations will have 256 antennas, thus taking the total number of antennas to a lot. Yes. Since the first antenna was installed in March, the total installed antennas... God, you're an idiot, David. Oh, I love science and space, but I've got no idea what half these things mean, to be honest with you. I just love it all. But still, just an old nerd. Was installed in March. The total installed antennas in August was 1,024, corresponding to 4 stations. That's interesting. 1,024. What if that's got anything to do with a computer number? Because that's 1 megabyte, 1 gigabyte, 1,024. You start off with, you go 1, 2, 4, 8, 16, 32. Interesting. Yeah. So 1,024 corresponding to 4 stations. The first image of the sky was obtained in early August. A similar first image was obtained in January this year from the prototype dish assembled for SKA Mid in South Africa. The test involves observing known radio sources or bright sources, which are used to test the antenna's basic working. Its fidelity and is used for calibration purposes. Yashwant Gupta, Centre Director for National Centre for Radio Astrophysics, NCRA, told the Indian Express. India's current effort is focused on grounds around software development. That should be really cool. That is to integrate the appropriate software along with the antenna control structure required both for SKA Mid and SKA Low. During the past 4 months, the Indian science team has been involved in processing the process of data analysis. Early next year, the Indian team, inclusive of industries, will also go on to develop and produce digital hardware for single processing of the 256 stations at SKA Low. Teams from India and Italy will primarily be involved in this task. Several tools will be developed and kept ready for the time when larger volumes of data will be generated. I wonder what they're writing in Ender. I wonder if it's something like C or something like that. That would be very, very interesting indeed. Fascinating, isn't it? Yeah, love all science, space, and tech. I just get awfully excited down in my nerdy nether regions. But then again, my personal life is no concern of yours. Yeah. Well, thanks for joining me for another Studio 64 Science, Space, and Tech News live stream update. I shall see you in the next one. And if you enjoyed this, please like, share, subscribe. Greatly appreciate it. And if you're up for it, don't forget to drop a comment below the video. All right, take care. And as I always say, if you can't be good at it. And look after yourself. And I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
Fascinating.